Hi everyone, welcome to An Abundance of Books. My name is Julia and today we're doing a review, but mostly I'm just pitching you on a book. With spooky season upon us, everybody is looking for a recommendation of spooky reads, and I have something for the wimpy crowd. This is a YA romance that is set at Halloween. There is a midnight masquerade and a love potion that has to be sealed with a kiss, and I loved every second of it. And that book is 3 Kisses, One Midnight by Roshani, Chokshi, Evelyn, Skye, and Sandhya Menon. I know about this book because I love Roshani, Chokshi. The other two I've definitely heard of, but I haven't read anything by them. I just finished listening to this book on audio and I immediately went out and grabbed a physical copy because also, oh my goodness, they didn't have to do this, but they blessed us with a stunning hardback. So now I'm just going to talk about this book and tell you everything that's amazing about it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to read the blurb to you. 400 years ago, the town of Moonridge was founded on Halloween. Everyone born and raised there knows the legend of the young woman who perished at the stroke of 12 that very same night, losing the life she was set to embark on with her dearest love. Every century since, on All Hallows Eve, the Lady of Moonridge descends from the stars to walk among the townsfolk, conjuring an aura upon those willing to follow their heart's desires. This year at Moonridge High, a group of friends known as the Coven will weave art, science, and magic into a Halloween unlike any other. Oni, True, and Ash believe everything is aligned to bring them the affection, acceptance, and healing that can only come from romance, with a little help from Oni's grandmother's love potion. But it's not so simple to boost Ash's confidence, nurse True's heartache, or open Oni's eyes. As midnight approaches, the friends will learn it will take more than a spell to recognize those who offer their love and embrace all the magic that follows. That's a great synopsis, can I just say? Because it sets up so much, but like that's not the plot of this at all. It's getting to know Oni, True, and Ash. The first story is about Oni, whose parents are presenting the midnight masquerade, and she is creating the love potions based on her grandmother's recipe, and it's so unbelievably delightful. She's like the true believer of the group, and then her other friends, Ash, who's a boy, and I don't know if we learned that in the first part of this, but Ash's story is second, and he is an artist. He's the one creating the masquerade masks for tonight, and he has a crush on his neighbor. And then the final story is True, who is the skeptic of the group, but she might be seeing the Lady of Moonridge. But my absolute favorite part of this are Mayor Grimjoy and Mr. Brightside. One is their science teacher, and the other is the mayor, and they are married to each other, and they just have the cutest dynamic. One of them is like, can you please calm down? And the other one's like, it's Halloween though. In the first story, Mayor Grimjoy shows up to Mr. Brightside's class in like a full costume, and he's just so embarrassed, and it's precious. They are so adorable in this. Every time they were on page, I could not stop smiling. This book just kind of feels effortlessly done. Like there's so much humor in it and heart, and it interweaves cultural references really effortlessly, I think. One thing that did sort of take me out of this though is the cultural references are very clearly written by somebody my age. Like there's references to Gossip Girl and Supernatural and National Treasure. Like, do 16-year-olds even know what National Treasure is? That's something I always think is interesting. Like, if a real teenager was going to write a book like this, what would their cultural references be? And I don't know. But it also took me a minute to realize that this was YA. It kind of reads like middle grade, but I think it's just very young YA. It was nice to have a chill YA. Like, I'm thinking of the Courtney Summers I've got up there. This is not that. This is a very safe and happy and wholesome story. It's also got all of the tropes that you could want, both like romance-wise and Halloween-wise. For the romances, we've got a enemies to lovers, a girl next door, and a like random stranger, but also incorporating an ex. And then there's like making the love potion. There's a haunted house at one point. There's a Ouija board. There's so much stuff going on with this. It's so effortless, and this thing is tiny too. It's 278 pages. Like, that is small for how much story is packed in here and how thoroughly. You really get to know all of the characters. I will say, wow, I fully endorse this hardcover. The audiobook is really good too. Each of the friends is done by a different narrator. Oni was obviously my favorite. I think she might be the best one. She has so much enthusiasm for everything, and I think that really stuck out to me. It was interesting. I read some reviews of this quickly, and they were saying that Oni was their least favorite and True was their favorite, and that is the opposite of how I felt. Unfortunately for me, this was like the first story was the best and they all kind of went down from there. True, being the skeptic, isn't necessarily what I want to read. I think like I am skeptical enough when the story is happening. I don't need someone to constantly be reminding me like, ghosts aren't real. I also cried at one point, which was shocking. The girl that Ash has a crush on has some sort of illness, and there's some discussion around that, like really got me, just kind of out of nowhere. And the thing about this too is like the writing is just exquisite. The descriptions in here are perfect. It's interesting too because Ash's plotline is he is an artist and he paints a lot, and he's describing both like art that he's done in the past, and he's making the masquerade masks and explaining why he painted something to look like the person that he's giving it to. And just, I need to find you something. I'm just reading bits about Grimjoy and Brightside, and oh, they make me so happy. So he's talking about how Cassidy has an underlying calm, but she also has so much vibrance to her. A mask like that would begin with blue at the bottom, a serene ocean, and then it would open up above into a resplendent sunrise, all pinks and oranges and yellows. There would be sapphire tassels beneath the ocean, glitter on the brows, and fans of feathers at the top corners. It's so atmospheric, and the fall vibes in this are perfect too. There's like a constant chill in the air. It's a midnight gala, and the gala's being held at Oni's parents' house, and they are loaded. They have grounds. There's a greenhouse in there. There's a home theater. It is opulent, and the atmosphere is absolutely on point. It's also the perfect thing for me as someone who doesn't enjoy short stories, the perfect way to get the experience of a short story but have it not be that. You do have to read the whole thing. The first story does a lot of the setup of the lore of the town and the dynamics between people, but you do get like the fast pace of a relationship in less than 100 pages. It's adorable and precious, and if you need something, like, I appreciate that this is very specifically Halloween. This could have been very easily just generic fall vibes, but it's not. So if you want something specifically for Halloween, if you're a wimp, if you want more YA in your life, I cannot recommend this highly enough. This is a 5-star read for me. I wouldn't be surprised if you're seeing this again at my end of year wrap up, but it's Halloween. Go pick yourself up one. This came out August 30th, so like it's still pretty new. It has very few readers on Goodreads. Like I checked today and it was under 500, so get a copy of this. Or of course the audiobook. Just read this story, have a lovely Halloween-y time. I know in my ramble reviews usually I'm a little more critical or trying to figure something out with this book, but this is just pure joy. And are there things I could critique about it? Sure, like the romances are all very fast, but it's like you're doing it in 100 pages, so they're well paced for that. But also all of the stories only take place over the day of Halloween, or maybe the day before, I don't remember. It's a cute little slice of life, fall, Halloween time, and I think that you could enjoy yourself if I've pitched this correctly. Anyway, that's it for me. Have a lovely October, and I will see you very soon. Bye.